We'll now listen to Robert Bartrop, Chief Revenue Officer of Source Global PBC, for our innovation keynote. Robert will give us a review of Source Global's revolutionary Hydropanel technology that aims to provide safe, clean drinking water for industrial, commercial, residential, and community applications. He'll discuss how this technology was conceptualized and its benefits and practical uses in real estate.
Hi there, my name's Rob Bartrop and I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of Source Global. We are a US-based renewable drinking water company that is working with governments, corporations, companies, and households all around the world to create an innovative, decentralized drinking water solution. The first question I'd like everyone to think about today is how sustainable is the water that people are drinking at your property? Water comes in a lot of forms: oceans, rivers, lakes, bulk water that people use for toilets and showers. But when we actually think of drinking, it is often a different type of water that we are talking about. And when we talk about sustainability, that word sustainable means different things to different people. At a lot of properties, such as hotels, sustainability and the experience of sustainability is the sign that you see when you go to hang your towel up. And the ability to save your planet by hanging your towel up or refusing to have your sheets washed is often the most sustainable experience that one can get at a premium hotel. When we talk about water that people drink, we often think of the bottled water. And again, at a hotel or a corporate setting, often the first thing that you get that is the emblem of trust and safety and experience as a traveler is really high quality water that's often transported from a luxurious place in the world, but is packaged in single-use plastics. And these bottles make up 500 billion single-use bottles that are consumed this way every year. In corporate settings, it's often a similar type of delivery, slightly lower quality, potentially slightly more local, but delivered in a 15-litre or 20-litre container that is the traditional water cooler in a corporate setup. And in premium hospitality, food and beverage places, that may be a very nicely packaged, more sustainably packaged glass bottle that is taken from the other end of the world, often the French or the Swiss Alps, Fiji and other exotic locations that people identify with great tasting and healthy water. So when we think about these themes, sustainability and drinking water, the reality is we can do better than putting a sign in the room to hang your towel up. We can drink more sustainably than consuming 500 billion plastic bottles per year or lugging 15 and 20 litre bubble tops of water upstairs and through office spaces. And we can find a more resilient way of getting water to people than shipping it from the French Alps halfway across the planet to experience sustainability when we drink water. These themes are very much prevalent when we look at the global drinking water access. The fact is that Sustainable Development Goal number 6 about universal and equitable access to safe drinking water is limited both by the affordability of bottled water, but also the accessibility in low density parts of the world, villages, farms, islands. Many of the places where people want to live for recreational reasons are the hardest places to get clean drinking water to and the most reliant on private sector supply chains like the ones we just talked through. These barriers in a social sense are really driven by access, the inability of Roman era infrastructure that we all enjoy in cities to serve low density and remote populations, contamination, the reality that aging infrastructure and risks involved in the kind of the service of water to remote places reduces the chance that water is safe to drink. Reliability, more and more we have tier 1 global cities actually at risk of running out of water, where all of the infrastructure and pipes in the world don't serve a purpose if there's no water to run through them. And obviously that vulnerability becomes more and more profound the smaller and more remote the locations get. And then the cost and waste of the existing water providers are often not factored in to looking at the sustainability footprint of customers, looking at corporates and real estate that may be striving to have a green building certification, but not always looking at what the people that live and work in those buildings are doing as far as their drinking water, and what is the actual carbon footprint, what is the environmental impact, and what is the cost and affordability and sustainability of drinking water. And that evaluation goes well beyond water and also includes the reality that the likelihood of high sugar beverage consumption, such as leading beverage brands, as well as alcoholic drinks, is far higher than it is in areas where you can drink tap water, because that trust and that experience is often replicated with a non-water alternative. Our company Source looks to transform the ability to access clean water by utilizing the abundant reservoir of clean drinking water in the atmosphere. All other forms of water supply look much like they did in the Roman era to access bodies of clean water on the surface or ground level, and then transport that clean water to where people are. We look at the opportunity to harness the abundant reservoir of water in the atmosphere and actually make water where people are in a similar way to a mobile telephone or a renewable energy microgrid, producing the commodity where people consume it at the point of consumption. The way we do that is with our product called Source, which is a Hydropanel. It creates clean drinking water using energy from the sun and water from the air. This is completely self-contained, so you'll notice there's no electricity used, there's no water input, and it is completely year-round reliable supply across a range of temperatures and humidities. And it will deliver water to a tap that can be indoor, outdoor, large scale, or very localized in scale. We work with property owners to dispense in-room or in-office. We can bottle to circular supply models, so there can be an on-site bottling, collection and recycling plan, which can be large scale at a 5 gallon or a 20 litre level, or more localized scale like the 500 ml bottle you see in front of you. We work with retail partners, we work with corporate property groups and homeowner associations to dramatically improve the sustainability of drinking water and save money and plastic while doing so. Currently, our business is operating in more than 45 countries globally across a very wide range of environments, including very active business throughout the Asia Pacific. We partner with governments, corporates, NGOs, and individuals to make this technology and this water available. And we sell the technology on a service basis. So we sell water on a per litre basis, which offers a switch or save alternative for companies, communities, and portfolio owners to be able to procure low cost, resilient drinking water for the long term. Couple of examples about where this technology is already making impact. The Platinum Heritage Desert Safaris is a 6-star luxury desert experience outside of Dubai. Part of being a luxury desert experience is that you're actually away from infrastructure, in this case, in the middle of the desert. We have partnered with Platinum Heritage Safaris to make this a completely plastic-free experience. So when guests arrive to stay and to visit, they are given a reusable water bottle. They can fill up from the desert oasis, and they can enjoy the desert experience without having to consume multiple plastic bottles or go without, drinking water. And so that's an example of a premium hospitality property that has been taken off grid and into a renewable drinking water scenario. We've also worked with many impact projects. So here is a rooftop installation at the University of the West Indies Hospital in Jamaica. This is in the pediatrics ward. So rooftop source panels offer very resilient, disaster-proof supply and saves a lot of plastic for patients, nurses, and visitors to the hospital. We also worked with a number of hospitality providers and hotels around the world. Here is a project at the Western Resort and Spa in Fiji, able to provide clean drinking water to guests at that hotel without the need for plastic bottles to provide that sustainability experience. And so this is an example with the Western brand, taking the guest experience of sustainability to a level above a sign in the toilet, and encouraging people to hang up their towel, and actually enabling guests to choose clean drinking water from a sustainable form as an alternative to consuming multiple plastic bottles each day from their rooms. We've worked with, we've done dozens of schools in Australia. So we've worked with multiple state governments providing service-based school facilities that enable kids to have a healthier alternative to high sugar drinks, provide more resilient, healthy supply for young people, and have actually partnered with private sector partners who are funding further schools, which allow technology to act as a tool for social impact and social equity between plastic reduction, but also funding community projects that uplift communities. This one such group is the Three Blue Ducks, who is a premium hospitality farm-to-table restaurant in Byron Bay, Australia. At this restaurant, they've completely abandoned single-use plastic bottles, and along with their farm-to-table menu, they produce sauce on-site, sell it in carafes like you can see here, and offer guests the part to contribute by purchasing this water to community initiatives. So the sale of water not only saves plastic and improves the experience, but it also allows contributions and funds projects to local schools like the one that I showed on the previous slide. Many other examples throughout Southeast Asia. Here's an example that we partnered with Ayala Hotels in the Cedar Virtus North Hotel in Quezon City in the Philippines, and a rooftop array, and have also worked with a number of bottled water companies. So companies that look to offer a premium water that is non-extractive, that is responsibly packaged, and that is locally sourced. So much like other food and beverage items, the new premium is locally produced, and the same way that a kitchen garden might be attractive for diners at a restaurant, a locally procured water brand that has the same taste and desirable qualities as a premium drinking water, but is saving a lot of carbon, a lot of cost, and really localizing the experience by offering a premium local brand instead of a brand that has been imported from parts of Europe or Fiji. This is really the essence of where we see sustainability going and where we see true leadership in the sustainability sector. How does sustainability really impact the way that properties are used? I think a great example of this is the innovation, as we've seen, not just green buildings, but the way people actually use buildings. What's the impact of bike racks, bike paths, charging stations, and attributes in property that can actually change the way people use that property, not just the footprint of the property itself. Many green properties and sustainable properties internationally around the world are still restricted by the fact that they're full of people who rely on various forms of bottled water as their daily sustenance. And the reality is that is a healthy and safe choice for most of those people. So those people are not stupid by drinking that, but they are without an option that has the same level of taste, trust, and safety, but is more sustainable. And what we are building is a brand with partners like property developers who can offer this to customers and as a benefit, as a sustainability benefit that adds to the way the property lives and breathes in a very, very emotional and fulfilling way. That's something people are actually drinking. And we're able to do that both directly through partnering with companies and governments, but also by bringing the social impact piece. So making sure that the people that build those buildings and work in those buildings also live in places where they can drink clean water, which is actually one of the great dualities of bottled water at the moment, is that people serving bottled water often have to go home and drink a far lower quality of water. Whereas we have a number of programs with companies where they can actually uplift communities and provide benefits for employees, as well as extracting more value for guests in the form of enhanced sustainability and enhanced experience. We also allow that to help build the brand. So we've worked with a number of companies, for example, mining companies in Australia, who have chosen to drink from source as a switch and save and plastic production alternative, but have also used the very same technology to uplift communities that are impacted by mining operations. So the question that we'll revert back to is, how sustainable is the water that you drink at your property? If the answer is that you happily drink water from the tap, then that's the most sustainable you can be. And that's, we applaud that type of sustainability. The reality is that's not always an option, and that is very dependent on the type of city you live in. And larger cities will be more likely to have that quality of water, and people in developing countries and more remote areas will be far less likely. And now there's really an option. It's not a plastic water or tap water question. There's really a renewable water scenario that can provide a really viable, cost-effective alternative in that scenario. The core value proposition of what we do and our call for partners in the global property business is really around people who consume plastic or want to take the experience of guests to the next level. And we look at 6 key features in perfecting the water situation: cost benefit, renewable, great taste, guest experience, sustainability, and the purity and resilience of that supply. Thank you for your time. Here's my contact details. I would love to hear from any of you with questions or more information. I appreciate your time, and thank you for listening.